We're live.
Here, we are sticking to our monthly goal of doing a video a month.
We actually did that. Wow.
4 months in a row we've done this. We're getting back into a routine.
Back into a routine, and I can't. When she said it's time to do another video, I could hardly believe it because this past month has flown by, probably because we've done so much and we've been cruising again, and we're kind of coming up on the longest we've been away from dock unplugged in why not ever, right?
Yeah, we're just about 2 weeks right now. I think we've been cruising around all on mooring balls and anchor. And yeah, it may be our longest day yet.
By the time we get back to Jacksonville, which might
weeks.
be another week. So yeah, or who knows? Yeah, we've been really enjoying this. I don't know, cruising. We've been enjoying this past month. It's been busy though. There were a lot of boat projects too.
So our last check-in was the end of May on Memorial Day weekend, and we were back on Why Not after spending a month out roaming in our van while Why Not was going to the spa. Yeah, we'll call it a spa.
Getting a bottom painted and new awning curtains, windows and window shades and...
Oh, a whole bunch of projects. Yes. So we had her hauled out for all the routine stuff that boats need to do. Zincs change. We put
engine maintenance. And
well, you don't have to haul out for engine maintenance.
That's true.
But we did the bottom job. We had some sealing done.
We needed 2 new sea strainers, so that was actually something that had to happen out of the water.
For the through holes for the main engines for the cooling system. So that was a holdup. Is that they didn't look at them until later, after they had already painted, and they said, "Oh, you really should get new ones." After we asked them to look.
That was the first thing on the list when we got hauled out. Was, "Hi, we think we might need sea strainers replaced." It actually goes back to when we first bought Why Not, because it was on the survey initially. It's like, these sea strainers are on their last legs, and well, we got like however many more years out of them, but we're like, we really think it's probably time. They're not looking that great, and they finally looked at them and said, "You're right. We need to replace them, and it's going to take at least 2 weeks to order in the parts." And I was like,
okay, well, that's fine. We had some great.
That was last month.
We had some great van adventures. We caught you up on those. It's a blog post if you prefer on it. And then just before Memorial Day weekend, they said, "Hey, we've splashed. Why not for you?" They didn't really give us a heads up. And they had her sitting in the yard, and they said, "You are welcome to come back." There are still more projects to be done, like the engine maintenance, which is best done with the boat in the water so they can actually
turn on the engines. Yes,
you don't, because it has to suck water from the water that you're sinking in. So if you're on the hard, that's not a good thing. And we had some other small things like gauges we wanted to have a look at. We needed the canvas installed. And
then fortunately, while we were there back living on the boat waiting for these other things to wrap up, the toilet broke. And
see, he says fortunately.
I say fortunately.
Because one of the pending projects was having all of our waste hoses replaced because they get permeated over the years.
And again, they're 20 years old and they were long overdue. They had a smell to them. And so... and it was very fortunate because that's actually something that looked like it was going to slip. The contractor was supposed to come in and do the waste hoses, still hadn't even come to look at and size up the job.
Hadn't even committed on a schedule. So we're like, how long are we waiting at the waste hoses, which we'll have to be kicked out again for because we thought it was a major project.
We had once estimated that it'd be two people, 2 days of very stinky work. And so what happened was our vacuum flush toilets broke again. The bellows, the vacuum valve makes a vacuum and then it sucks your poop down and it explodes it and then pumps it into the tank.
Oh, delightful.
Yes, and the bellows that makes that vacuum, I've replaced this once before. It's a dirty, gross, painful job with bad access. But when it develops a pinhole leak, it starts to make a frothing brown milkshake in the place you don't want it.
And then the whole system loses vacuum, the vacuum all the time. So we wake up in the middle of the night to going chunka, 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 chunka. And it's just, this happened while we're in the boatyard. And we're like, okay, should we order in the parts again? Because about every 6 months, the vacuum flush system needs replacement. It's supposed to be a great system. It's what was kind of the bee's knees back 20 years ago when our boat was built.
So my philosophy has always been, if something breaks, it's just jumping to the top of the upgrade list. So we were very fortunate that we hadn't started on the waste hoses project, because that was just going to be new waste hoses to the old toilets. And we're like, what about we take this opportunity and just ditch the toilet system, the vacuum flush entirely?
So we're going no poop. No longer do we use shampoo in our hair. We're no longer pooping.
Yes, we've given up on that because it's just annoying and it's a mess. And why even bother? Just hold it in and make diamonds. You can do that, right? Just squeeze. No.
Yeah.
No, so we decided let's get rid of the vacuum flush and switch to a modern electric macerating toilet that instead of blowing your poop up with a vacuum, spins really fast and grinds it up and sends it down to the tank. And there's some really, I guess 20 years ago, macerating toilets were loud and had a lot of downsides. Now they've gotten great. So we ended up doing a whole bunch of research and researched the Dometic Master Flush. And I was like, yeah, I probably can, because we had to switch to not using our toilet. It was broken. And let's just upgrade it. And ordered in the Master Flush. And actually it ended up working out that one of the subcontractors they had around at Lamb's was basically he's a postal worker, and he works a couple hours every afternoon and evening, and he's like, I think I can help you with this. Let's install the toilet, and actually let's just install the hoses too. So
I can do the hoses, no problem. The hoses, he did it in 2 hours, taking them all out and replacing them. Total. Most of the work was on the toilet.
Well, in the build, you have to disassemble the cabinets and all that stuff, and I was able to get in and do some of the cabinetry work and all the stuff to make it happen.
It took a week to do the whole project, but he was only working 2 hours a day.
Yes.
So that was fine, because in the mornings we had the engine work going, which is just all the basic major engine projects. So it was basically all day long we're with the mechanic, and then he would come in the afternoon, take over the space in the boat, and we'd be with him until about 6 in the evening.
And work on toilets.
And then we would do our own projects in the evening. So we took advantage of having the space and the amenities and
power.
And power. So we rescreened all of the windows.
We screened the windows ourselves. The boatswain's locker finally came and got the side curtains made and installed, and new outside window privacy shades. So a lot of stuff was happening on the boat. But one of the other projects that we were waiting for was new hatches for the bedroom windows. Or another part that they
deck hatches.
The deck hatches, the windows over the bed. You look up, you see the sky.
Kind of. It's really frosty. You can't really see through them. If you can see through them, then your vision is much better than mine.
And when you open them, you see. Okay. But those, they looked at them also, and they said, these aren't worth rebuilding. They're leaky. The hinges are going bad. We should order new ones. And again, they figured that out kind of late in our stay at Lamb's, and they're like, it's going to take a while to come in. And
Beaumar, the maker of the hatches, is not known for speedy shipping.
Oh, goodness, no. And so we were sitting at the boatyard, and they're like, well, maybe next week the hatches will come in. Maybe next week the hatches will come in. Meanwhile, they're letting us stay with power for free, because that's kind of how it works if you're waiting for parts.
We're near the Avondale section of Jacksonville, which, if you've ever been there, is an amazing area. Lots to explore, a lot of great dining. We went to the symphony. We made friends. We did a lot of just exploring and little boat projects we just tackled here and there. I remember going to the Home Depot several times.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I repainted the doors.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Because we repainted the doors. We got the doors sliding better, and then I actually rebuilt the door lock so our doors lock again, and the other things. So we did a lot of boat projects, but we're like sitting here, we're like, how much longer are we going to be waiting for these hatches? And can we leave and come back when the hatches are ready?
So we finally got them to get a commitment from Beaumar when they were actually shipping, which was, they just arrived on Monday, last Monday. But we've been out 2 weeks, so
yes, 2 weeks ago, we're like, can we just go away in our boat and use it and enjoy cruising?
Yeah, and they give us our bill so that we can pay you off. And I actually have to say, Lamb's was amazing. I wish they had looked at the hatches and the through holes earlier on and gotten those parts in order. Those are my only 2 complaints. And if you've ever been through a boatyard project or followed some of ours, that's saying a lot. Otherwise, their communication was amazing. Their work was really well done. Yeah. Everybody we interacted with,
the people were just fabulous.
Wonderful people that were a joy to have aboard our boat. And when we got the bill, it was less than I thought it would be. When I had figured up in my mind, because I'm always calculating how long.
It was still a lot of boat bucks, but it was less boat bucks
than I thought it would be. Especially when I factored in that they charged us for all the hatches. It was about $5,000, $4,000 worth of hatches.
Parts.
There's 4 of it that was included on the bill, and it was still less than I thought it was going to be. So
for the first part of the project.
Yeah. So completely happy with Lamb's. Yeah. I just have to say, they're just awesome.
And sometimes after 4th of July, they say, now that the hatches are in, circle back, and it's a quick job to install them.
We should be back there 1 or 2 days, because we're also going to have them do some caulking on the
fingers crossed
on that. Yeah, and then we'll start our cruise back to Sanford for peak hurricane season. But in the meantime, we've been able to be out cruising, which has been amazing. Do you want to do the old fashions now in the sunset?
Yeah,
or do you want to talk about the fun stuff? Because boat projects are fun too. But.
Well, so we talked about the boat projects. Let's want to do drinks, and then we could talk about the cruising while we enjoy our drinks, and you could show the sunset and stuff too.
Sure.
Because we're going to show some special drinks because we got the ingredients in St. Augustine.
This is kind of a preview of where we just went. We just came from St. Augustine.
So you have to look at this to preview the camera because you don't see it there.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
this will be fun.
Yeah, so here we go. But you can show the sunset first.
Okay, go show the sunset.
We
are not in St. Augustine right now.
Yes, we're in
and I forget, I can talk without having to talk in front of the camera because we have the new lavaliers.
Oh, wait, but
but you
should probably step outside. So. St. Mary's,
so yes,
Georgia.
We are currently anchored off of St. Mary's, Georgia. We are technically anchored right on the state line, and right now we're technically floating in Florida, but you're looking at Georgia over there. Great little, cute little downtown, free public dock, 6-hour dinghy dock that we can go ashore for free. They've got fresh water over there. They got recycling, trash, very cruiser friendly. We'd been here before by RV. There's the submarine museum right over there, which my dad was involved in when he was alive as part of this. He was a submarine veteran. He was involved with the organization there. So been there many times, been to this area many times. It's fun to come here by boat.
Yeah.
All right.
Now here.
Okay. So now, Chris, this is what we picked up. We just spent 10 days in St. Augustine and went to their distillery there. Well, there's 2 distilleries. We went to the St. Augustine distillery.
And we got the big ice cubes.
And Chris loves old fashions, so he splurged and got all the ingredients there to make old fashions. And so we are popping over the bottles for the first time tonight.
Yes.
And making some old fashions. So let us know what you guys are drinking in the comments.
Okay.
Even if it's water, this is usually what we have. So this is an old-fashioned mix. So it is supposed to be 1 part of their mix, which some people make up their own old-fashioned stuff. We bought their bottle. We tasted it. It was pretty good. And close it, and I'll read them what the ingredients are.
There you go.
So this is what they sell there. It is aged in their bourbon bottles. It has got cane sugar, orange peel, spices, and some other stuff in there, some sort of bark stuff.
And here's their
bourbon. And the bourbon has
we're
bourbon
doing
in
doubles, so.
Okay, it's supposed to use 4 parts, but we're not going to do that.
No. We did because that's 2 to 1. So yeah, we're doing the right ratios, but it's a double.
Okay.
So you have to sip it nice. And so we got the big ice to do it properly.
Yes, you even bought the ice cube tray with the big ice. So this is their Florida straight bourbon, which is their base bourbon. They have 3 other flavors that they make. One's like a port, it's aged in their port barrels, another one in a wine barrel, and something else. We just went with their basic one. And then we also bought their
boozy cherries.
Boozy soaked cherries.
Yes. There we go. Boozy soaked cherries.
And if you notice, we are having these.
When we bought the ice cubes, the fancy ice cubes.
But if you notice the cups, these say "Welcome aboard, why not?" These are the actual original tumblers that came with our boat when we bought it. The original owner had those made, so these are about same age as the boat. This is actually, we have not used these much at all.
Okay, there we go. Big ice cubes and everything.
All right.
Okay, let's go set them back down here.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. And
you can see a view of where we're sitting chatting to you from. Okay, you want to set that back up?
Back in and aim. You get there. Yeah, this would be where it'd be nice to have a camera person and a producer handy by.
If Kiki had like thumbs.
Yeah. We'll make sure Kiki gets into this shot at some point. Okay. Hey. So we could tell you about the cruising, and then we'll take questions because.
Well, first we have to do toast. Always look each other in the eyes, or it's 7 years of bad sex.
Toast. All of you.
Don't want to risk that. Cheers.
Here's to cruising, and here's to enjoying the local flavors. And
okay, that is strong. I will be having water as well.
You drink. This is like
Very
an hour's
slow.
worth of drinking. Yes.
That's why I have my water glass right here.
Love a good old fashioned.
All right, so After we left the boatyard on the Ortega River in Jacksonville from Lamb's Yacht Service, where we had gone in there in late April and then left in mid-June. It was like June 15th, June 14th, something like that when we left. We went to our first anchorage, which is 4 miles away in downtown Jacksonville. We love this anchorage. It's just beautiful. We had an amazing sunset. The city was all lit up with pride colors in the buildings. It was beautiful. And we had dolphins all around us the entire time.
The dolphins were the best part. Like they were just going crazy right there in downtown, feeding all around us. And particularly this one sunset night was so magical. And Cherie is in the hot tub. Cool plunge. Actually, it was hot that night.
It was warm.
Yeah, it was warm. Watching the dolphins jump with the sun setting over Jacksonville and thunder and lightning in the distance. And it was just kind of magic. And we love being anchored in the heart of a city and having our own little private island right there with the
just
buildings
view of the
all above
cities, the
us.
Sounds, the helicopters over us. It's just a great
one of our
experience.
favorite anchorages.
We love mixing things up.
Yes.
All right, so then it's about 9 miles to complete the St. Johns River.
Yeah, I forget actually.
8, 9 miles.
Because we timed it with the current.
So we're smart. We remembered tides. Being down in Sanford for 3 years, there is no tides down there. We're back into areas where there's tides to be concerned with, which is current, and it can get pretty strong leaving Jacksonville, going out to the ICW. And if you time it
up to
wrong,
3 or 4 knots even.
Yeah,
It's like
you're
crazy.
going to either, if you're pushing against it, you're burning a lot of fuel and you're getting really slow speeds. You time with it, you're surfing.
Yeah, and actually because we timed with it and we went so fast down, we actually got to the ICW part and we had to anchor and wait for an ideal tide so we wouldn't go through this notorious bridge, Atlantic.
But stop.
Oh, yes, because we were still deciding.
Because as we're heading down the St. Johns River, we had not yet decided if we're turning left or right at the ICW. If we go north, we come up here to where we are now, St. Mary's and Cumberland Island, Fernandina Beach, areas that we also love. And we had never really explored St. Mary's or Fernandina Beach before.
Yeah, so that was actually kind of potentially first on our list.
Yeah, that's where we thought we're heading when we weighed the anchor that morning. However, I was watching the weather, and there was those huge systems over the southeast about a week ago that's causing major storms. And I'm like, you know what?
The forecast was much worse in Fernandina than it was in St. Augustine.
And we love St. Augustine. That was the other choice, is to go south. Because we, 4 years ago, had spent about 8 nights on a mooring ball at the municipal marina down there and just loved it. And I wanted to repeat that experience.
Yeah. So we literally got to that intersection. We double checked when we dropped our anchors. We got down there so quickly and we're like, okay, should we go south or north? Double check the weather. And we're like, yes, the weather is telling us south. There's still a lot of thunderstorms in the forecast, but not quite as severe. And so let's go to St. Augustine. And we timed it to go through that notorious Atlantic Avenue Bridge at Slack, which that bridge can actually have 5 or 6 knot current, which like some boats can't even get through when the current is running against them.
It can be like whitewater rapids, we've heard.
There can be a standing wave when like spring tides are going. So you got to time yourself on these places. But yeah, we always try to time it so we have current not too strong against us or with us. But yeah, we headed south to St. Augustine.
We did a night at Pine Island Anchorage, which is about 11 miles north of St. Augustine. Great, just serene, beautiful little cove.
And again, timed it to get to St. Augustine because it's another place where the currents rip, to get there at Slack on a nice morning. And dolphins, again, were welcoming us. And basically they handed Cherie the pennant from the mooring ball. From the dolphin who's holding it up. That's what you told me.
Okay, you have a very
I couldn't see over the front. No, the last time we were in St. Augustine was the very first time we ever did a mooring ball, so we were super nervous because you got to...
You're leaning over the boat, really, our boat
maneuvering.
Hook. I need a longer hook, and then it's about as far down as my hook can reach without me falling over the bow of the boat. Bringing up this slimy rope and this pennant on it, and then you have to secure your lines to it. And it took
meanwhile, hovering the boat to stay in.
Yeah, and trying to communicate with whoever's at the helm, where everything is, where you need the boat positioned. Our first time, I did some research and some YouTube videos, and
we did it like 2 or 3 tries.
Yep,
we did a pretty good job.
This time we nailed it first time.
Yes,
and the dolphins did not hand me the rope.
Okay, the dolphins were there cheering her hookness, and so get checked in. Staying on a mooring ball in St. Augustine is just $30 a night. It's like $28 and some cents, and they because tax works out to exactly 30, which is very convenient.
And which is amazing if you're a resident of St. Johns County, which is where St. Augustine is. It's half price. But yeah, it's great. And then you got access to their dinghy dock. They have onshore facilities. They do have a bathhouse, laundry room, and cruiser's lounge, and you can get mail there.
Pump out station, water.
Usually they have a pump up that comes to you in the mooring field that was broken while we were there.
Yeah, and we got one of the front mooring things right by the Bridge of Lions with a view of the big fort where they'd shoot cannons at us every day to humor the tourists. And perfect. I mean, it's like a picture postcard view of everything. If we'd wanted to stay in the marina, we would have been able to plug in, but it would have cost
about $140 a night, I think, between the dockage and the electric and the power. About $140 a night to stay on the dock, or $30 a night to be on a mooring. And yes, we did need to run the generator just a little bit. And we got by. We did 10 days down there. We got by with only 17 hours of generator use because the temperature was like mid-80s, so we were able to handle that.
We'd have a nice sea breeze, so we'd have maybe some of the days when it didn't have afternoon thunderstorms to cool it down. We'd have a little bit of air conditioning in the afternoon, and when there was super cloudy days so that we didn't get any solar, we need to compensate with the generator. But overall, we did really well with our power and with conserving our water. We did get to test our water maker for kind of...
But we had to recycle it because we pickled it because
ages ago.
We bought it just before, as the pandemic was going on, thinking we'd have to live on the hook to avoid zombies or something, whatever we thought back then, and ended up in Sanford, which is freshwater, which you don't really use a water maker in freshwater. It just clogs the filters really quickly. So we've really never used it.
Well, it was lake water with lots of sediment is the main thing. Yeah. The water maker worked great if we were in the Great Lakes because it can be adjusted to it can be adjusted to purified RO lake water, but yeah, Sanford does not have water that was really appropriate. And again, we had plenty of water there, but we wanted to exercise a water maker. We did that. We did other things there, but we mostly just enjoyed being in this amazing town. And
they had great restaurants down there. Did a lot of walking, a lot of running. Yep.
Some awesome running there. Got some new personal bests running around.
Yep. So yeah, it was just great. Just great to be downtown and enjoy that. And it got very wakey. There's a lot of recreational traffic, a lot of tour boats that come through.
And you're also kind of, the inlet is right there. So you shake around a little bit.
Oh, look at the sunset behind us.
Yes, I know. I had the tide so it'd swing us.
Sure, yeah.
I did.
I'm sure you did.
The tide is reversing right now. And... so St. Augustine, magical place. 10 days went by in
really quick,
super quick. We even got to see live theater there, which is one of our favorites. That's part of the reason we extended.
It's because we found out the theater in town.
Yeah, we had stayed for a week, and we're like, oh, if we stay an extra day, we see a live play
at the Limelight Theater, which is always fun. So we've got to see All My Sons. Definitely not a lighthearted comedy.
No, not a lighthearted, not a musical, not fun, but very serious and very well acted and
very poignant.
Yes.
So after that, we decided, okay, now let's go north. All those storm systems had passed.
We were tempted to go outside.
We were. It was really smooth out there. We have never done an outside passage on the Atlantic. We thought, well, St. Augustine and St. Mary's inlets are both rated as some of the easiest on the East Coast. We just got waked here. We're not going to be much wake here on St. Mary's, so it's kind of a reminder of St. Augustine.
Yes.
And I honestly, it was
ready for something new.
It was 55 to 60 miles, and I figured for our first that was probably too much to commit to. I just had this vision that krakens are going to come out and eat the boat. I don't know.
And once you're out there, you're kind of committed. So it's we decided we'll save that for a future adventure to do an outside passage because again. We love cruising the ICW and cruising on the inside. It is beautiful.
Except for we picked a Sunday afternoon.
That was the downside.
Stupid. So much recreational traffic. It was like a washing machine out there on this little narrow channel because just north of about Pine Island. So we anchored at Pine Island. No, we didn't. We did a lunch stop there.
Yeah, lunch stop to wait for the current to change.
Right.
Yeah.
But the section from about that area, you're going to Point Verde, and it's just a whole bunch of residential docks.
So very narrow, very straight
and
canal.
A lot of fast boats of just going through, just ripping through there. And we don't do that. Our boat kicks up a lot of wake. We never run at plane
to shake other people around
when there's any traffic nearby us.
I was trying not to go. I told you so to Cherie of like, really it would have been calmer and flatter outside than inside, but pick your battles and
so we've been keeping it was a warmer day, and we've been keeping our hot tub not heated, which gives us a cold plunge in the afternoons. So Chris recommended that I just chill off, so I went and put on my swimsuit. We never wear swimsuits in the hot tub, but a lot of people
too many tourists,
and
too many houses on the side.
I just chilled in the cold plunge and cooled off.
And every so often it would go like this and make it swirly rapids and stuff, because we've done cruise ships where you pay a lot of money to have the big hot tub that shakes you around like this. So we get it for free just cruising on the ICW and having those boats wake us constantly.
Yep. So we got through the Atlantic Bridge at Slack again. We anchored right off of it. And then continued on to Cumberland Island, which we've been to before. It's a national park. This is the island that the Carnegie family left to the national park system. So there's a few private residences still left on it. There's the ruins of the Carnegie's house.
Yeah, they're Dunelland, Dungeness. Dungeness is their old former mansion, and it's a beautiful place. And the advantage of being there in your own boat is that you can go ashore before the ferry from St. Mary's with all the tourists
which leaves comes. Right over there.
And you could you can walk around when the island is deserted, and then you can then leave for the heat of the day, and then come back after the ferry leaves and have the sunset on. Have an evening or late afternoon. Have the beach all to yourself.
You get the mosquitoes all to yourself.
You do get the mosquitoes all to yourself, but that's when you run into the ocean, and it was some of the best beach experiences I've ever had. I mean, this beach is incredible and so beautiful, and we had it to ourselves again. It's nice and calm on the outside, but it's glassy out with just gentle waves, and we enjoyed the beach. We went running on the island, did some beach running,
and there's feral horses all over the island that are running around. Yeah. So we got to.
Oh yeah.
It was an amazing experience. We ended up 2 nights there this time. You pay $15 per person for a 7-day pass.
National park pass.
So we paid $30, and we could technically go back. We're still on our pass until Monday.
And again, beautiful. And it's just because the island was never developed, and it's been in the national park system. It's 50 years now, so it's they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year.
Hey, so am I.
Yay, there you are. Should we make you a national park?
No, don't make me a national park.
So beautiful time there. There's only a few cruising boats popping by because we're off season. The downside is that we are now getting into some of this. Heat is spilling over, and so it's a lot hotter than we were in.
We're definitely not going to get away with 17 hours over 10 days.
No, I think we did 17 over 2 days now.
Definitely making up for it.
It's so cheap to be anchored out that we're having a generator running for the heat of the day to make it bearable inside has been just fine.
You got to keep Kiki comfy.
It actually really was. One day Kiki was panting. We're like,
nope, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, so take care of the cat.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Cumberland Island. Then we just yesterday.
Yeah, well, we were going to go to Fernandina Beach next, but when we cruised through the mooring field, there's all boats anchored in the mooring field because apparently the mooring. I don't know. We'll go check it out.
We're going to go to Fernandina Beach. Yeah, we really want to check it out.
But then we saw that we remembered that St. Mary's had a really cruiser-friendly vibe, and we said, let's go check that out.
We'd never been up the St. Mary's River, and it was only like an hour, 7 miles an hour cruise from Cumberland up the river to St. Mary's. This is where the ferry that goes to Cumberland for the tourists is, and this is a neat little town. It's got a great anchorage right off the downtown. We've already discovered some really neat restaurants that we're planning to check out, and we've checked one of them out already. It was amazing.
I stumbled on it. I thought it was a breakfast and lunch cafe, and they were just doing like a soft opening for dinners. And
we had basically a private chef who did a gourmet international meal for us. So that was like...
Yeah, we had Indian food.
Yeah, Indian food. We did not expect that in St. Mary's. And so, again, a neat little town, and we're going to stay here, at least through tomorrow, because there's a really interesting pizza place that's also having their grand opening tomorrow. That's supposed to be the best pizza in Florida, so we'll see. They used to have a food truck, and people would line up for hours, so they're opening their own pizzeria. You're
in St. Mary's.
So, yeah, so hey, that's how we plan our travels, is like, there's grand opening sign on this famous pizza place. Let's stay an extra day.
Yeah, see and check it out.
See what happens.
So we'll see. And they do gluten-free. So
yes.
That's great for me.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so we're in St. Mary's, Georgia. Like I said, we're right smack dab on the state line between Florida and Georgia right now.
Florida, Georgia. Florida, Georgia.
Uh-huh. It's kind of crazy. And yeah, we'll probably check out Fernandina Beach. And then sometime next week, we'll get back to Jacksonville, get those hatches installed. And then we'll be making our way back to Sanford. Probably take a week or two to get there. Be there later in July. And then we're planning to store the boat in Sanford for peak hurricane season. Yeah. We'll kind of keep an eye on how the season's going and go out and do some van trips. And see how far we feel safe going during peak season. Yeah. So you know, we went through two hurricanes last year.
Late in the season.
Late in the season. And it's already been a very active hurricane season.
Sort of. Ish. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there were already 3 named storms.
Yeah, but they didn't go anywhere. So yeah. Now, speaking of St. Mary's, this is an invitation to start queuing up any questions. If you guys want to chat, we enjoy the lives because it's interactive. And Anne is our dear friend here, is telling us the last time they passed through St. Mary's, they had to stop for a submarine crossing. Maybe we'll get one too. That would be amazing. The Submarine Museum is right here at the dock, and just on the other side of this peninsula, that is where St. Mary's is the Kings Bay, Georgia submarine base, where the nuclear of the boomers home base out of. So there's more destructive power comes through here than.
Yes.
It's kind of scary to think about a little bit of what goes on over there, but it's amazing. And Cherie's dad was a submariner on one of those way back when.
Cool.
So Anne, it's so awesome to see you guys. Who else? Any other questions here?
Oh, someone would like to see the kitchen.
Okay.
I think it's somewhat reasonably clean. I just whipped up some dinner before the video, so I have not done dishes. So please do not judge us that we have not done dishes.
Okay. Well, if you want to give a quick tour of the kitchen, I'll keep the camera pointed at you.
Okay.
Okay.
And since she has a Bayliner, I will
point out a few Bayliner changes we made.
that we did. So this is the basic Bayliner layout for the 4788. We loved it. The galley. Sorry, we're on a boat. It's called a galley, but it is. Our boat captain, training captain, told us that kitchens should be rated by how many butts can fit in the kitchen comfortably.
1.5.
This is about a 1.5 butt kitchen. So if I'm cooking a meal and he's helping, I'm putting him over here to be my sous chef because I need my space here. But we have the sink over here, which I said is full of dirty dishes. Yep. This Bayliner came stock with a Princess electric stovetop and oven that was here. We ripped that out, made that a storage cabinet. That's where our Instant Pot lives, as well as a rice cooker and our pots and pans. And then we put in a 2-burner induction hob. So these were all mods we did very early on in our boat ownership. It came standard with just a microwave oven. In our first week on board, I think, my mother actually gifted us, our boat warming gift was she gifted us a convection microwave oven. I think it has exploded refried beans in it right now. So
Don't open it.
I will not open it. The prior owner had taken out the marine fridge and put in, this is just an apartment fridge. He got it at a scratch and dent. All the scratches and dents still there.
And we modified it, put in a secondary inverter so we can power this more efficiently. We did that last year during the hurricane.
Yep. So this runs off a smaller inverter, so it can run off our lithium batteries, and we can get by overnight without having to cycle the bigger inverter. So that's been great. Then he put a little storage cabinet on top just to make up the difference in height from the original one. So, and then this is a trash compactor, which we are actually using. We hardly ever use it when we're on a dock like in Sanford because we have access to trash. But when we're out here anchored and we might not have access to trash for a while, like Cumberland Island was a pack it in, pack it out sort of location, it helps you manage your trash a little bit better. Other than that, when we're at a dock, it's usually excess storage for, well, wine. So that
Speaking of wine, yeah, we got the other mod here is the wine cabinet.
Yes.
This used to be the TV back. Yep. It was actually originally a boat anchor, a big giant glass TV.
Yeah, it was a 25-inch, 24-inch Sony, I think it was. So we have a pop-up 49-inch television that we built in over there.
We've got other videos that show that tour.
Yeah. So then with this we turned into storage. So this is where Chris's cereals lives, the oatmeal lives, the chia seeds, and the wine cabinet, and the cat food.
Yes, very important.
We also had a request to see Kiki. I'm going to show them Kiki's Admirals.
Here, let me take that question off the screen so we can focus on Kiki here.
Hey, kitten.
There we are. Hey.
You're coming into the...
This room is a little bit messy at the moment.
Oh, yeah. It's always messy. You know, it's called a pilot house. We call it the Pile-It house because this is where all the project stuff usually ends up.
Where the drone ends up.
And usually about 3 days a year, I get Chris convinced to put everything away, and it stays clean for about 3 days. I enjoy those 3 days. But this is the Admiral's ready room. So she has her desk, her litter box, and her food here. And she usually sleeps right here when we're cruising. So she is in earshot of us. She'll come up and visit us on the flybridge when we're underway. But she's usually most comfortable right here. And this is Miss Kiki. He is now she'll be 15 in October.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back and sit down and...
Okay.
Oh. Hope you didn't mind the little motion sickness tour here.
So we had one other topic we wanted to cover, unless there's any other...
Yeah, that's right.
So we wanted to it's been 6 months since Chris turned 50-ish. I think it's been 7 months since you turned 50. Anyway,
November.
So a year for his 49th birthday, we set a goal of semi-retirement. For us, that meant no longer working 60-hour work weeks and getting it back down to normal. So our staff over at the Mobile Internet Resource Center, everyone has been working somewhere about 20 hours a week. We wanted to be like our staff.
Yes, we wanted to work as much as they do, we've talked about this in the past, but we were spending the Mobile Internet Resource Center was consuming our lives, and we love mobile internet, we love tech, we love playing with it, but it was eating too much of our lives, and we were reaching the breaking point that we were going to have to potentially shut the entire site down or figure something out. And consultation, our team is like, hi, use us. We love this. We want to keep doing it. So
we all work together as a game plan. Our team is amazing over there. If you've ever gotten to interact with any of our team, you know that. So we all work together on how to transfer a lot of our daily responsibilities to them. So, you know, of course, all the day-to-day stuff, customer service and updating content and news scans and things like that, we had been shifting to them over the years. But more importantly, we had to teach them our decision making, what we do to decide how things get covered. So we really shifted a lot of the day-to-day stuff to them so that we don't have to be on call when a news story breaks as to what needs to be done with it.
Yeah, they could take the lead on bringing out a news story and consult with us as opposed to the other way around. And also, it took a lot for us to kind of hand off our contacts. It's like the people that we know in the industry. And it's like, hi, we'll still participate in a lot of these calls. We'll still be kind of there, but we're no longer the main point of contact for so many companies now. We're like, hi, you go with this person, and you go with this person, you go with this person, and we're letting ourselves be slightly out of the loop. And
they're doing more of the testing of the evaluation of the gear that we get, so we're not having to be constantly
testing.
Because it was getting to the point where we'd go out on a van trip and we would have to take 10 different routers and hotspots and data plans, and we would be in a location for 3 days, and we would spend 2.5 of those days testing gear, and that's not a fun way. So we've shifted that load out to everybody else, found ways to do the evaluation.
Well, why did I spend all day yesterday testing?
Because you only did that for 1 day out of 6 months.
And also because I was enjoying it, and I wanted to make sure our internet was better here. Working. So it's kind of get to do the stuff that I want to do.
Yeah, so we're doing it so we enjoy stuff now. Right. Another thing that we did to really focus our time better is we do still have some scheduled calls with industry contacts and people that we have to have calls with, and we do webinars still with our members. We've tried to clump those together within a time period of a few days so that we're hyper-focusing on working those days, but we're not scheduling constantly around scheduled calls.
That was one thing that was really driving us crazy is we'd have, even when we were trying to lower our workload before we started thinking like that, we would have, well, okay, every week we've got this meeting on Wednesday, and then another week we've got this on a Thursday, and this. So all of our weeks had less work, but it was still so many days, almost every day or every other day had something on the calendar. And we're like, let's get the calendar clear and bunch them up, have like 3 calls in one day if we need to, but that's the day we need to focus on being stopped, having great connectivity, having a shower and looking good for video calls. And then the other days we can, like, if we do feel like, hey, let's make a left turn and go play with wild horses on the beach and do this.
And not know what connectivity is going to be.
And
we have Starlink, that helps a lot. But
still. We always have connectivity, but still tuning it and stressing about it is, so just changing that thinking and kind of not letting work drive our schedule was transformative.
So we are still involved. We probably each check in for a couple of hours every day. I still produce videos of our team. We still do the videos. We still are involved in assessing the stuff, but mostly the team is taking things. And we have successfully gotten so that during those non-work weeks, we are sometimes working 5 hours, maybe 10 or 15. So it's been great. Yeah. We're much happier. We have much more time for fitness and eating right and having a healthy lifestyle and having a balanced lifestyle of getting out there and actually enjoying the places we visit.
Yeah, spending more time being tourists, assuming it's not too hot and sunny, and that is a downside. And just also more time to go invest in meeting cool, interesting new people, which has been really fun too. So we've been trying to do that as well. So, yay! That status update on semi-retirement is
a success. And actually, last summer's van trip is when we really kind of tested it in advance of his birthday coming up, which was the goal, and mostly rocked it. And so we've almost been semi-retired for a year now, really?
Yeah, with some bursts. I mean, there have been some weeks and some days and stuff that is a lot of work. But again, we enjoy that. So it's kind of, it's nice to dive into a project or, a month ago we spent a whole bunch of time at a industry Peppling Partner Summit, but we're meeting people that we love in the industry and getting to know them in person, and working non-stop, very long days, but they're social and work combined, and it was like so that's kind of what we like.
So basically, work has become fun again for us, which is what it should be, in my opinion. And we're down to not having to work. So I say it's a couple hours every day. I still do I love bookkeeping. To me,
for her,
it's
that's fun. So
I still do that every single day. We have meetings with our team a couple times a month. And then we use Twist as our project communication, and which is kind of like Slack, but with not annoying, and not
as annoying.
We communicate there, and we talk about things, and we chime in if they need feedback, or we'll QA their work sometimes. But they QA each other, and that's awesome. They have each other to lean on, and most of our staff now has been with us for several years, and we just gave them. I think the biggest shift for me anyway was I had to learn to let go. Of not being in control, of not being the final say, of not doing a lot of the work myself, and say, hey, guys, I think that article needs a little more work here. These points need to be covered. Go do it. Instead of before, I would just go in and
do everything.
Do it myself.
And letting the so many of the questions and stuff, it's like, okay, don't need to chime in on every thread, don't need to chime in on every question, because I enjoy it, but it's
we're no longer first point for customer service, for responding to members in our forums. We have two wonderful geeks that is their primary thing, is tracking these things, testing gear, keeping involved in that stuff, and they can feed off each other's brains, consult with each other. Yeah. They actually just met in person last week, which was great.
Gotta love virtual teams.
Yep. So it's been wonderful. So yes, retirement, awesome. Anyway, we can hang out for a little bit more, chat if you want.
We got beautiful light behind us. I see it's coming through the screen. The camera's doing a great job of capturing some of the...
So if there's any other questions, Trey had a question if there's any other loop resources other than the AGLCA. They are the central resource for information on the Great Loop. I don't know of any other competitors to them. We are also members of the MTOA, which was the
Marine Trawler Owners Association.
So it's for trawlers. We have a motor yacht. They are open to all boat owners, but they're a great resource for more general boat cruising lifestyle stuff, whereas the AGLCA is focused on the loop.
And there's also the Facebook group Off the Beaten Loop that our friends Dave and Stacy run, which is kind of focused on some of the interesting side trips and stuff. So they've got a semi-active Facebook group, and just kind of figure it out as you go. I'm not sure if there's some.
I was looking the other day. We did a video on mobile internet for the Great Loop that we just did at the Mobile Internet Resource Center. We just did that last week when we were in St. Augustine. So if you're looking for mobile internet tips, go check that out. But I was looking at the other videos that got recommended. Spoiler alert, I don't look at YouTube videos very often, actually. But I saw there's a whole lot of loopers out there now sharing about their loop adventures, some families out there and things like that. So I haven't watched the videos. I don't know how good they are, but they're getting a lot of views. So there are definitely more YouTubers sharing about their Great Loop adventures. And if you like YouTube videos, that's a great way to go about it.
It's kind of amusing that we started the Great Loop and there was really not much else YouTube content for it at all. And we've made it through like 1/6 of the loop so far, and now there's like, it feels like people are circling around us, which is great. I mean, I love that it's become, there's more YouTubers, there's more people making stuff out there doing cool things, because sharing is fun, sharing is caring. Yeah,
and same with RVing. I mean, we were one of the OGs of RV life on YouTube. I think we're credited as being the second channel,
the second oldest RVing channel on YouTube, theoretically. So wow.
But back in those days when there was so little content and a lot of new viewers, there was a lot of pressure to have to create lots of content to cover all the topics. We don't have to do that anymore. We like that.
And there are other people who are making a living at it, and we're just doing this for fun. We don't want to play the advertising crazy games, and if YouTube pays us a little beer money, that's all it is, and that's great. So
or the games of trying to get the most views. We really want, why we do this is we like to have a community of people's. Neil Davis is in the room here tonight. Longtime fan who followed us on YouTube, and invited us to come visit him last summer on our van trip, and got to hang out with him and his lovely wife, and had an amazing time hanging out. I think there was a little bit of whiskey involved.
Yeah, we love meeting cool, interesting people. That's the main kind of reason we put ourselves out there. Is it's fun to do, and we meet cool people. And every so often YouTube sends us some beer money. So yay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we do this for fun. We do this for connecting with people. We're not here to. We long ago gave up on being big YouTube. Our numbers are actually, subscribers are actually falling. We cool.
I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to get that silver check mark.
I think the Mobile Internet Resource Center might get it.
The Mobile Internet Resource Center is still climbing and climbing. Technomadia is plateau, just drop below Mobile Internet Resource Center.
Yeah, but we also are no longer. We have not done a produced video since January. We've only done 4 of these lives this year.
Yeah, we're back to a 1-month pace.
We're going to try to keep up with this monthly, as long as people keep showing up and asking questions.
If you like this, thumbs up and likes, and tell us that you want us to keep doing these lives, because again,
give us ideas for topics you would like to see us cover, other than just talking about what we've been up to. I mean, I can always talk about what we've been up to. That's fine. I was thinking. We've been doing some nude RVing lately, going to nudist RV parks. We might do a video on that with clothes on. We might do, I don't know, maybe we do one on marine toilets, although we just kind of did that.
Well, I don't know. We could actually show it off and show it how it flushes and talk about the vacuum flush. And I don't know. I mean, does that, people want to see a video on toilets, and we could do it live from the bathroom.
Because we also have a composting toilet on board.
True.
So.
We could talk. We could
talk about vacuum flush, composting, gravity toilets, and
because they're all kind of crossover with RV toilets, and it's been kind of fun to experience them all. I've now had my hands deep inside a lot of different types of toilets, so that could be interesting.
So we have a question of what would you consider the best upgrade to your Bayliner?
The best upgrade to the Bayliner?
Oh gosh, we have done so many.
The center hatch mod is like the mechanics working on our engine thanked us about 100 times for having that mod, because the Bayliner 47.8 by default, to get to the engines, you have to open a hatch in the hallway basically and crawl a crawl space to get between the engines, and then reverse to go back and forth. It's crazy bad design. So many
Bayliner owners do.
Cut a hatch in the center of the living room, which kind of tears up your carpet, but we eventually redid the carpet, so now the carpet's beautiful. But cut a hatch in the center of the living room between the engines, so you can just move that aside and stand between the engines.
Yes, so the whole salon becomes an engine room when you're working on it. So some of our favorite mods is doing the pop-up television.
Yes, we love having the TV out of sight, out of mind. And when we want to watch, we want to have a big screen. So
definitely the solar and lithium, which we have a whole video on the solar and lithium setup, which was supposed to have gotten upgraded while we're in the yard. But Battleborn's newest generation of batteries are not available yet, so we'll be waiting
our
on
batteries are actually not in healthy shape, so... But Battleborn is standing behind them, and we're going to get the new next generation when they're ready. So,
Other top mod, the hot tub, definitely the hot tub.
Hot tub, simple Amazon purchase. We've got a great video on the hot tub to go back and look at. But yeah, that makes a lot of happiness just to have either hot water or cold water. I wish it was a higher quality hot tub, but as far as cheap and easy,
it fits.
And the size is perfect. So yeah.
Yep. We have a question about the bus. What is the next trip with the bus?
Okay, what is the next trip with our bus? Here, our bus is taking a trip right now. This is our bus, which we have not seen in way too long.
Yeah, so we last saw the bus at the end of 2021. We intended to go back. No, it was end of 2022. No, we saw it. No, we were going to go back last year, but the hurricane season had us coming back to Florida early, so we ended up... Can I not have a bus?
Okay, there we go.
So we ended up coming back to Florida in late September as the hurricanes were ramping up so that we could be with Why Not. So we did not get out to Arizona last year. But the intentions going forward is Zephyr, who...
It's a 1961 GM.
Who we just celebrated 11 years since we got her.
Yes.
No, 12 years. 12 years we've had the bus. We have a co-op lot in Arizona at the Escapees Saguaro co-op out there. So Zephyr, that will be her home base for the foreseeable future. And we'll use the van as our mobile RV. We may get out there, but I would not feel comfortable with the bus having sat for so long, taking it out on the road without a really thorough inspection.
We do some work, but I mean, it's a desert bus. I could totally see us doing a few Arizona trips, but it's basically going to live in Arizona.
Yeah, we're not going to do long trips on it anymore, I don't think.
Probably not. The van is so much more nimble for the long, quick exploration trips, and the bus is heaven for living in the desert. So if we spend time in the desert, that's where the bus will be.
Yep, it docks right into our lot. We have a little house there that becomes our living room and office. So it's a great setup, and then we use the van to get around and do smaller trips around there. So we may do some smaller Arizona meandering with the bus in the future, but there will be no more, I don't think, any long trips in the bus. Yeah. I think those days are...
Oh, we've been all around the country in the bus.
Yeah,
so
we did 7 years full time in the bus. Yeah. It was amazing and awesome. But the more extended travels will be on the boat and the van going forward. And we'll see how the bus continues to fit in, because if we're only going to go see her once every other year, that's not a good use of her potential either.
True.
So, but we love her. So, and every time we go out there,
every time we fall in love again, and so we love our bus, and we'll see when we get out there. Looking forward to it. I check the bus every day with the cameras and the battery remote system and stuff, and it's just puttering along there. Our router, the cellular router in the bus, is like 8 years old.
It's the 2015 that 3G store, now called 5G store, sent us when Peplink came out with the Max BR1. The original classic.
Yes.
It's got a Category 4 modem that predates T-Mobile's Band 71.
It's ancient router, but it's still keeping us connected. So I have remote access to the bus, and yeah, it's been kind of fun. Oh, hey, there's Ron. He's got a upgraded, fresh from heart surgery. So he's another one of our bus friends who has a bus that he'd restored, and now he's gotten heart upgrades. So I saw your post earlier today. It sounds like you're well on the mend. So I'm very excited for you, Ron. And completing the loop.
Of course, we always get this question. No plans, but one day we might. Yeah. We intended to start out again this spring, but we ended up getting delayed in Sanford. I had some medical things I needed followed up on, and then by the time we needed the boat work done up in Lambs before we could set off, and that
missed the pack for this year. We'll see if we feel compelled to
start it
next year or not. We're kind of torn because originally we're starting off doing the loop, what we call in slooping style, slow looping, where we'd move a city and then stay for a month, move a city, stay for a month, and we were planning to take a very long time to do it like that. Yeah, perhaps, so there's so many amazing cities and towns to check out, and having those extended stays, the monthly stays, make it affordable. They make it actually really affordable.
But we were thought that the retirement trip after we completed that semi-retirement would be this year taking off and doing it in a year or two at the normal pace.
And we'll see.
And that might be fun too. I definitely could be, but I know that we're going to get to all these amazing places and want to stay longer because that's who we are. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm setting intentions again to start out next spring. Yeah. We'll see. We also the hurricane season last year, really messed up our fall in 2022
yes.
and the rest of the year, which means our time in Sanford was limited. We would have needed to leave in February to get up to Lambs and get all the work done, and then leave in probably by April.
And they weren't ready for us. There was all sorts of stuff.
And we weren't ready. I mean, we had not really gotten to feel at home in Sanford.
No, because we've been dealing with hurricane recovery because we were spent 3 weeks without power. Which that's actually when I said, hey, this trip we might be our longest time without stopping at a marina.
That was our longest.
Cherie's like, well, what about Hurricane Ian? It's like, well, we still had the power cord plugged in. There was just no shore power. So we were plugged in. There was just no power. And we were on a dock, but there was no power.
So yeah, I mean, we're looking to potentially next spring, hurricane season permitting. I mean, it's still on the list, but we long ago gave up the identification of being loopers, or that the Great Loop is a goal. It is something that
it's really cool, and there's places that I really want to cruise. So at some point we'll cross those bridges, but
we might cross
under those bridges or go through those locks.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to explore it, but it's also a commitment.
It's like once you hit a certain point. Yes, and the slooping plan, staying each place for a month, and I think we had a video in the past talking about the advantages of staying for a month at marinas is so much cheaper.
Oh yeah, because overnight at marinas for a boat our size, we're 47 feet or 52 depending upon how a marina charges. I mean, it can easily cost, the cheapest if you can get them $1 a foot, plus taxes and electric, you're talking $60-$70 a night, up to $200 a night.
Right.
And you can't always anchor in the place, and we love anchoring. But if you want to get on shore and explore these places you're seeing,
you want to be on.
You sometimes need marina
access. And it's not that we couldn't afford it, but it's just we don't like that pressure of having to then see something, like dive into a town and have like 1 day to see it.
No, you get in at 3 or 4 in the afternoon after cruising. You get a night and you're kicked out at 11. I mean, that doesn't give you a lot of time.
And maybe you do 2 nights.
And so then you're paying $400 to stay overnight for 2 nights to get a full day. And I don't know, it just seems silly when you're bringing your own house.
Yeah, and then again, when you look at the monthly prices to stay at some of these places, it's like, oh, well, okay, I could stay in this awesome town for a month. So
now you're looking at, we're paying like $10 a foot down in Sanford, but most marinas are $15 to $20 a foot, maybe $25 a foot for a month. Now you're getting to rate where it's $700 to $1,200 a month to stay downtown in amazing locations where you are the view of the $1 million condo right above you.
And you really get to relax and enjoy the places, find your favorite restaurant, and then be able to go there again, have develop favorites, meet some people.
But the downside is as you move further north,
there's a winter,
and apparently those are cold.
And
that's where there's.
And also that means you're not making anywhere near enough miles to complete the loop. So I don't know. I mean, we did it as far as Charleston with that slow pace, and we loved it. And maybe at some point we'll try some faster paces and go further and faster. But we like to play it just like when we got down to that the ICW on the St. Johns River. We decide whether to go north or south, basically as it happens, and we just check the weather, check how we're feeling, check what's calling us. We steer by serendipity is how we describe it, and that will be what decides north or south.
Alrighty. I think, we've been babbling for an hour, so we should let these folks get on with their evening. It has been a good hour.
I hope this was fun. We had a decent turnout here, and I don't know. We enjoy these lives because it's kind of fun to pull out the video gear. Today we're using our little wireless microphones, which I think should have given us some good audio. Hopefully it was. Play with some more gear and play with things. I've been experimenting with maybe some future one. I'll do a live video from the drone just because it's fun and geeky.
Okay.
Yeah, so, if you keep liking these lives and telling us to do more of them, we'll do them and we'll have fun and we'll come up with interesting, fun things and fun ways to play and watch sunsets in cool, exotic locations. Or not, hey, but we'll try to stick to these once a month, I think.
Yep, so give us a like, give us some comments, leave us some love. That's what makes us leaves us inspired to come back next month and do these again.
Absolutely.
Who knows? Maybe we'll actually produce a video at some point. I don't know.
Yeah. Because we produce so many videos for work, it's hard sometimes. Yeah, we'll see. But
so anyway, have a great evening. Have a great 4th of July weekend. Safe and happy. We're going to try to stay out of craziness ourselves.
And and then ending, we've got, for those who didn't see at the beginning, we do have kind of a video recap, so a short produced video of some of the events of the cruising video
of the actual video footage B-roll that we actually captured.
So here's a little bit of our farewell and see you the last month. So
see you next month.